Well,
We'll start
okay.
with your name.
Oh, I'm Charles Murphy from, I was originally, I came from Freeport, Long Island, New York. Now I live in Merrick, Long Island. I
Tell me
was,
your regiment and
yeah, I was drafted into the Army right out of high school. I realized I was going to the Army. And after I was drafted, I had 2 weeks to prepare and so forth to get ready. During that 2 weeks, I decided I would like to go into the ski troops. A friend of mine had gone into the ski troops, the 10th Mountain, and they trained in Colorado. So I and three other of my friends decided to join the ski troops. We had to get three letters of recommendation, and even though I have never skied before, I was an athlete in high school, and they were looking for people who were athletic and young and willing to learn and so forth. So I got letters of recommendation from my coaches, and and then I just joined up into the 10th Mountain, and we had a little training in Camp Upton, Long Island, New York, and then from there we went immediately out to Colorado. That was in August of 1943, and we did our training in Colorado. And of course, I learned how to ski at that time, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
when you think back on your training, can you think of any memorable training experiences? You were 86I, by the way.
Yes, yeah, I was at 86I Company. I was put in 86I Company, and
When you think back to training, what's memorable? Like what really stands out?
well, the most memorable thing about that training is my injury. I fell on skis, and I shattered my knee, and I couldn't continue the training for about 3-4 weeks. I was laid up, and the the knee, of course, became better, and I was able to do everything I could do before. But recently, in the last 10 years or so, it's developed arthritis, and it bothered me a great deal, so I finally had to have the knee replaced. I had a new knee put in. But after our training in Colorado, of course, we moved to Texas. As the other fellows probably have told you, we went down to Camp Swift, Texas, and it was an entirely different atmosphere and climate. We hated the hot weather and the muggy weather, but we had to do the training. We did a lot of marching, walking for several miles at a time. And during the time at Camp Swift, our regiments each started a athletic program. They had a baseball team. Each regiment had a baseball team, and they also had a boxing team. And at the time, I had done a little boxing in high school. In those days, we had a high school boxing team, just like the wrestling team nowadays. So I joined the boxing team, and we had a 10th Division tournament at that time. The 86th Regiment had a team, the 85th had a team, 87th had a team, the 126 engineers had a team. So they arranged a 10th Division tournament. And I happened to win the tournament at the welterweight championship of the division. And then when we went overseas, we left from Virginia to go overseas in December, and we landed in Italy just before Christmas time of the '86. We went over on the luxury liner, the Argentina, and the fellows on the boxing team put on boxing exhibitions at the time. So I kind of kept in shape just doing that. And during the combat, I don't have too many memorable experiences, but one that I remember, and I'm not sure where it was in one battle, but I think after the war and after studying where we were and what we were doing, it was probably at Della Terraccia, and our platoon was told to take this hill, and the Germans were dug in up on the top of the hill, and there were several farmhouses around and so forth, so we had to attack them. And our platoon, about 36 men, attacked that hill.
Your unit on
Okay, yes. Our lieutenant told us to go up this hill and clean out the Germans. We captured several and, of course, killed a few. And when my lieutenant looked around, there were only 6 people from my platoon who made it to the top of the hill. And at that time, he said we were going to get medals. We were awarded the Bronze Star at that time, the 6 people who made it to the top of the hill. There were other battles, I guess, that I remember pretty well. One, this was earlier. No, it wasn't earlier than Della Terraccia. It was later than Della Terraccia.
Well, can I back up and
Sure.
ask you about that one battle for a second?
Yeah.
That was that the taking of the top of Della Terraccia?
Yes. Uh-huh.
And you guys
Yeah.
were the first ones there.
Yes, we were. Yeah.
What was it like to fight your way up to the top of Della Terraccia?
Well, it was difficult. We didn't realize what an advantage the Germans had until we made it to the top. And we looked back down the hill, and we can see how open it was. And we just wondered how we ever made it through that terrain. And they, had machine guns firing at us and so forth. So it was a little scary. It was more scary after we got up to the top and looked back than it was during the battle.
How many people didn't make it to the top from your...
Well, there were 36 people in the platoon, and 6 people made it. It's not that they were all killed, but they were taking prisoners and moving them back and so forth. So they just didn't make it to the top at the time. So.
What were you thinking when you were making your way up that hill?
I was thinking that I want to get to the top. That's all. I didn't think about being killed or even injured. We were only 18, 19 years old at the time, so we were indestructible. We couldn't be hurt, at least not killed. So we just wanted to get to the top. That's all.
Now you got to the top, and then what did you think?
Well, then we were a little bit worried. How do we ever make it? It was scary then, after we looked back. And they were dug in so well. They had trenches all the way across the top of the hill. And I don't know how they were rooted out of there, but they were. A lot of them gave up, and some of them, of course, were hit. And some of them retreated and got away because we had to fire at them, 200 yards down the other side of the hill.
Then tell me about the counterattack that followed.
Well, the counterattack didn't come until the next day. The next day they did attack, but it was not very coordinated and not powerful at all. So they never did. They never were able to take the hill again. So.
Now, what was your position during that fight up to Della Terraccia?
Well, I was a BAR man, a Browning automatic rifle, and that's an automatic rifle that's quite heavy, and it's accurate, and it's powerful. And there was one for every squad, a BAR. And I just, when I got to the top, I had to rest the gun on the top of the hill on the ground and fire it to be accurate. It's tough to hold a BAR and fire it like a rifle. It's a little too heavy. But we had other fellows who were very helpful. But one one of my friends who was in my patrol, in my squad at the time, was injured. I found out after the battle and after the war that a grenade on his belt was hit and it exploded, and he was put out of action. He never did come back to the company again, but he survived the war. In fact, I saw him after the war. We went to different colleges at the same time, and we did get together. He was wounded seriously, but he was okay later.
Can you think of any other memorable wartime experiences?
No, those are the two biggest battles that we were in.
I think that Counterattack one was very good.
Uh-huh.
Can you
Yeah.
think of anything else that you wish you would have said? How about that?
Let's see. Well, it was after the war in May that at the end of the battles, after the end of the war, the United States Army, of course, had to keep their men busy somehow. We didn't like to do close order drill, but they were kept busy. The regiments decided, excuse me, the regiments decided to get the athletic teams going again. So we had a track team. We even had a ski team who skied against other regiments and against the Italian people. And we had a boxing team also. And the boxing team went against other outfits in the area, even the British team. So we spent our time doing that between May and July, when they decided to bring us back to the United States and possibly go to the east, to the Far East, for Japanese, the war over there. But fortunately, by the time we got home in August, the war was over, so we didn't have to go to the Far East. Thank goodness.